Well, now she's got me on the true crime lately. As you know, she's got me on true crime.
Yeah.
And one of the stories last night was there was some update in the Gary Coleman death. And I said, I hadn't thought about that in years. They were interviewing his ex who was with him at the time of his death.
When did he pass?
2010, May of 2010. It's been that long. So
And what was his cause of death?
well, see, I couldn't even remember. And so I watched this.
No offense, I have no memory.
Yeah. Gary Coleman was on Different Strokes and a child actor, and then, grew up.
Blazing superstar
huge
for a time.
superstar in the 70s. Grew up, didn't have that much success as an adult, but married this woman, Shannon Price. They were married only a year, then they were separated. But she was at his house, I don't even know why, when he fell down the stairs and hit his head and was bleeding. And I'd forgotten about this.
Okay.
Well, apparently somebody drug it back up online and said, why is this woman not in prison? Because he fell, went to the bottom of the stairs, hit his head, there was blood everywhere. And when she called 911, this is what my wife's point was. When she called 911, she said, I can't get near that blood. I'm traumatized. And they said, you've got to put pressure on his head. She goes, I can't.
Oh.
I just can't do it. We have the 911 call, along with a reporter who was talking to her during it.
His head is bloody. There's blood all over the floor. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened.
The 911 operator tells Shannon to apply pressure to his wound, but she refuses.
I just can't be here with the blood. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't. I've just been kind of sick, and I don't want to be traumatized.
I just don't want to be traumatized. I'm sorry. Sorry. You need her around, Biggie, when you fall here.
Yeah.
You
Although
looking for a caretaker?
Yeah. I think we've got the perfect.
she does remind me of two people I know.
Really?
Who not long ago did abandon me when I had to be taken out on an ambulance.
That's right.
You two basically did the same thing. I can't see this. I can't be traumatized.
I'm
I have a pickleball
I've been sick
tournament.
lately.
I was contractually obligated. There was nothing I could do. Remember?
I'll never forget all the coworkers with their hands on me, praying as I was wheeled out. Except there were two
Who did
very
not lay
distinct
hands.
absences.
Two hands missing. That's right. I can't. Oh my God. I can't see something like that.
And you two wonder why you'll be held out at my funeral.
Well, now fast
You having
forward.
bouncers?
Okay.
Oh, it's private.
I have password. Password to get in.
Password protected.
Just like your hospital stays. Password
Bingo.
protected. Now, when he passed in 2010,
The fall killed him?
the fall killed. 2
Okay.
days. 2 days later, he died.
Okay.
He had brain injury and died. It was terrible. And I barely remembered. I couldn't remember how he died.
And how old was Mr. Coleman?
I want to say 38. He was, young. And so the woman, Shannon Price, now is being interviewed by the folks from Inside Edition. And
Current day.
Current day. Yeah, because it's been dredged back up, and people are saying she needs to be prosecuted for not, and they never did, and for not helping.
Rendering
them.
aid, as it were.
That's right. And she said, now, wait a minute. Who do you think got the towel? We had a tough time finding towels.
I did help him. I actually had to run around looking for a towel because we didn't have any in the downstairs bathroom. Other people need to understand and realize this was the first real traumatic situation I'd ever had to witness.
Right. What do you want from me? I see this. What do you
I
expect?
threw a towel at him.
What do you expect? She did. She threw a towel on top of him, and that was it. She did not put pressure on the wound.
dish towel. That's all I could find.
It's Christmas themed. Yeah.
That's his last conscious memory.
God, how horrible. I mean, maybe she should be prosecuted.
Yeah.
Jeez. So stay tuned. That's a two-parter.
Is that something we need to bring up with our attorney when we speak with her on Friday?
Maybe we should. Maybe we should.
I do.
I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I do vaguely remember talking, and I think a lot of people thought, did she A, kill him?
Right.
B, should she have been charged with something for not rendering aid?
Some people thought she pushed him down the stairs.
Yeah.
And they never could. I guess they probably investigated. They couldn't.
Would that show up in the types of injuries, or does that when you fall down the stairs, you fall down the stairs?
Well, that's a good
there's
question.
a whole good case about that.
Staircase.
Yep.
Okay. My wife's totally into that, as you know.
But even if you shove someone or trip them, that wouldn't show up in.
I
an
don't think
autopsy.
so, unless you shove with such force that
you leave a bruise in the back.
Yeah.
I bet you, but I bet that's consistent with just falling too.
Yeah.
Like tripping versus being pushed can't be determined. Is my thought on that.
That sounds like reasonable to me.
Do you know what my wife's other thing was on? We were talking true crime last night.
Oh yeah.
What's titillation Tuesday? Okay. And we were all about, oh, yeah, true crime, this. And I've been watching a lot of 2020 and Dateline lately. At her.
It's the month of love.
It is. And she said, and I was interested to get your take on this, Biggie. How often do you think a spouse kills another spouse, gets away with it, moves on to somebody new, and then a year, 2 years later thinks, I regret doing that. I had it just as good or better before. You know, like you think the grass is always greener, so I killed my wife. Now, 2 years later, you're stuck with somebody else you also don't like.
Oh, yeah. I think
it happens.
Oh, absolutely.
25 times a year.
You think so? That much?
10 to 25.
Yeah.
I think
I was going to say 50.
Yeah. I think it's true, too.
But definitely the grass is always greener because I think that happens even if you don't kill them, if you just leave somebody in divorce.
Yeah. You're like, I might as well go back to the other one.
You look back and then you're now with somebody new and you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, but moving on with your life is one thing.
Yeah.
Ending someone's life, that's a
totally different. Yeah.
It's a whole different
right. So you've got
situation.
You've got the guilt. Oh, my God, I killed somebody.
And got away with it.
And got away with it. And now I'm not as happy as I thought I would be. You know, it wasn't worth it. I think it happens a lot.
Aren't I so much better than your dead wife?
You know, funny you mentioned that. This kind of goes along with that, but in the next Demm report, we'll meet a Brazilian woman who may have done just that.
Well, get ready for that. That's
a tease.
I do teases all the time. Nobody ever says good tease. If you know what people say to me, your teasing is so weak.
Wow.
You know,
even the best in the biz say that.
Everybody from the lowest on the totem pole to the best in the biz say, you got the weakest teases I've ever heard in my life.
No, come on. You had one yesterday. We'll meet a man from Michigan.
I did. I said, we'll meet a man from Michigan.
Yeah.
The last tease I just did was I watched Inside Edition last night. What? That's your tease? That's supposed to get people to listen to commercial
Gary
break?
Coleman, still dead after 15 years.
That's your tease?
It was funny this morning before you got in here. We print a daily audio sheet that says, different fun clips. And Chris Demm always looks over it, and he did lean back in his chair and look at me this morning. He goes, Coleman, what's this?
I said, my thought was, it can't be Gary Coleman.
Yeah. I thought that might, surprise sub.
I was like,
we've got the latest in the Gary Coleman investigation here.
That's what he said. He goes, is this about Gary Coleman's death? I said, yeah. He goes, what is it? And I said, apparently there's an update.
It's only 15 years ago.
So, this is what happens when everyone on the show buys in.
That's right. That's right. What great teasing, too, of an update on the Gary Coleman investigation. What? Who?
Finally, some answers.
No one cares at all.
And I'm sure you got what you talk about Willis clip, right?
Biggie was supposed
to.
Biggie
for God's sakes, he's known for one thing.
Biggie had thought ahead, he would have gotten the "What You Talking About" Willis clip.
He's being short. He's short.
He didn't.
And he said, "What you talking about, Willis?"
That's all. That's all we need. But we do
now
not.
He's dead.
We do not have that, and he died. He just tragically died. I'm upset about this. This was 15
like
years
anglerfish
ago.
upset?
Yeah, I'm anglerfish upset about this. I'm going totally anglerfish on this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and the ex-girlfriend or ex-wife is a total move you would make 15 years later. Gosh, sorry. Oh, fine.
My first dead body, you guys.
Okay, jizz.
That's exactly what she said.